Let's be honest for a second. Are you training incredibly hard? Maybe even pushing through those brutal 3-a-day sessions, but still totally plateauing when you actually step onto the mat? You know, you're grinding, but somehow piecing together random YouTube drills just isn't translating into wins. It is so incredibly frustrating to put in all that literal sweat and tears and just not see it on the scoreboard.
Well, in this explainer, we're diving into a really fascinating guide for aspiring competitors. We are going to deconstruct a specific, step-by-step technical framework derived entirely from Coach Dany Lee and his Taekwondo Fury methodology. If you've ever wanted to bridge that gap between old-school grit and modern high-performance success, this is absolutely your roadmap.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Here are the 5 domains we'll be breaking down to give you that competitive edge. The electronic scoring era, mastering sensor optimization, essential clinch and tactics, developing elite fight IQ, and finally, the modern training blueprint. Let's get to it.
Starting off with Section 1, the electronic scoring era, where we move from manual judging to data-driven combat. So, to win today, you first have to understand how fundamentally the game has changed. Back in the traditional Grandmaster era, matches were judged manually. You got points for deep power and generating that visible, trembling shock. But modern, Olympic-level matches? Totally different beast. Today, the Protector scoring system rules the mat. It's all based on precise sensor contact and hitting a very specific kilogram force pressure. High volume power absolutely built the legends of the past. But today, tactical precision is what actually wins gold.
So, what exactly is this PSS? The Protector scoring system is the electronic machinery that completely runs modern scoring. It removed human subjectivity, which is great, but it introduced some seriously unforgiving mechanical rules. You literally have to hit specific pressure thresholds based on your weight class just for a single point to register. So, this piece of machinery demands a completely new strategy for sparring.
Which brings us to Section 2, mastering sensor optimization and actually beating those PSS thresholds.
So how do we physically score points on this machinery? Coach Lee's system focuses on a few exact technical adjustments. First is sensor optimization, basically learning to flick or rub the sensor rather than relying on that deep, traditional power. Next up is pressure management, making sure every single strike hits that exact kilogram force threshold without you just burning out. And this is crucial, and range stability. You need total muscular control at maximum extension because, get this, if you fall after a high kick under modern rules, you're instantly hit with a gum jump. An immediate penalty point, no way around it.
Biomechanically, this completely changes how you kick. The wide, sweeping arc of an old-school roundhouse is a massive liability today. It's way too easy to see coming and counter. Instead, the modern kinetic chain demands a tucked chamber. You keep that knee tight and in front of the body until the absolute last millisecond. It minimizes your telegraphing and gives you a much faster path straight to the sensor.
Moving on to Section 3, essential clinch and tactics, dominating close range and defensive walls.
The dominant front leg brilliantly illustrates the most critical weapon in modern sparring, the cut kick. This isn't just some static push. It acts as your primary defensive wall. It's a highly dynamic jamming mechanism that can instantly cancel out your opponent's forward momentum, and then it lets you transition lightning fast right into a head kick.
But obviously, you can't just rely on that front leg. Footwork has evolved way past simple forward and backward bouncing. Coach Lee's system teaches you to outsmart your opponent using angular displacement. Basically, you draw them into a trap, make them think an opening is there, and then, boom, you swiftly step off axis and launch a counterattack. It is literally high-speed physical chess.
And when that distance does close, mastering the clinch is an absolute necessity. Traditionalists often skip this, but in the electronic era, the clinch is an absolute goldmine. You have to use that transition from long-range kicking to close-range pushing to score points right over their shoulder or even on their back. Especially if you're a shorter fighter, you've got to master this to stay competitive. Let's transition to Section 4, developing elite fight IQ, strategy over attrition.
So what does fight IQ actually mean? Well, it's your ability to process information, recognize your opponent's patterns, and execute the exact right technical response, all under immense high-stress conditions. This right here is the beating heart of the Dany Lee methodology. It completely moves us away from that old, exhausting fallacy that just working harder automatically gets you better results. A huge piece of fight IQ is managing the scoreboard in a best-of-3 round system. You can't just coast for 2 rounds and explode in the third anymore. Every single round is its own separate battle. You need to win the first 30 seconds to establish dominance. Then, you've got to navigate what's called the red zone, those hyper-tense final 10 seconds, protecting your lead without drawing penalties. And of course, you need the mental resilience to instantly shake it off and recover if you lose a round.
Doing all this requires what Coach Lee calls the furious mindset. The secret weapon here is duality. Think about it. You have to be totally furious and aggressive in your prep, but remain completely ice-cold and calculating during the actual match execution. This exact mental framework is what he teaches to his community of over 280 athletes.
Finally, Section 5, the modern training blueprint, focusing on periodization for high performance.
Let's see how this all builds into a specialized weekly routine. Every single aspect of this routine has a highly specific objective. Technical precision is dialed in for PSS scoring accuracy. Tactical IQ sharpens your decision-making. Strength work focuses on structural integrity. Speed targets reactive velocity. And analysis is all about strategic correction. This structured periodization completely replaces that aimless, exhausting 3 times a day old-school model.
Let's look at conditioning as an example. Instead of just running endless, mindless miles, modern athletes use sport-specific drills. Take the 5-minute partner core workout. This isn't just crunches. It develops raw rotational strength, simulates bracing your core against actual hits, and throws unpredictable loads at you, exactly like what you'll face in the clinch. It's completely data-driven and translates directly to the international stage. And the best part? You don't have to figure it all out alone. Modern athletes use digital institutions to basically eliminate the guesswork. By relying on monthly live fight breakdowns and direct personalized coaching feedback, you ensure you're training what actually works right now, and you're correcting strategic errors way before they turn into bad habits. Now, if you are sitting there wondering if this modern, data-driven approach actually works in the real world, just look at 2024. That is the year Coach Dany Lee used his exact modernized Taekwondo Fury methodology, stepped back onto the mat, and incredibly became the U.S. national champion in the under 74 kilogram class. No way, right?
His personal journey is honestly the ultimate proof of concept here. Early in his career, he was doing that massive 3 times a day training volume, which really just resulted in bronze medals and a lot of frustration. But his modern comeback? By relying completely on fight IQ and tactical periodization, it yielded a 2024 national championship and a 2025 Korean Sports Festival gold. It absolutely proves that adopting this framework works no matter what stage of your career you're at. It all boils down to this absolutely crucial takeaway from Coach Lee. The gap between a bronze medal journey and a national champion outcome is often found in the quality of the training plan rather than the quantity of the training hours. It really is all about structured, tactical execution over just exhausting yourself with pure effort. We've just laid out the entire framework for you. You now understand the electronic scoring era, sensor optimization, those essential clinch tactics, and exactly why developing your fight IQ is critical. So, the only question left is, are you ready to abandon those outdated methods, stop wasting time on random drills, and start training to actually win? Take these insights, apply them to your game, and watch your results absolutely transform. Thanks for joining us for this explainer, and keep learning out there.